lawsuits or nothing, or you say, or you come out and say something, that might get me
I'm gonna be talking about
a
things, but
lawsuit. Oh, you're breaking up on me, homie.
Just throw a bunch of allegedlys in there. You'll be
Yeah, there
fine.
you go. Yeah. Don't do like Sam was doing last week, just dropping allegations on people. It's like, yo, man, we don't have no legal team or legal budget. You're gonna be on your own.
Oh man.
I got nothing. So that's gonna be our only bit of news. Will be the Hogan thing,
Okay.
and then we'll get into the reviews because there's like 5 of them. So I'm trying to just knock that shit out. I think, like I said, I might try to round table the pay-per-view, just kind of run down who won real fast, and then we'll kind of have an overview.
All right.
And then we'll go into Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and all that. Oh, I gotta get one more thing before we get started here. Gotta dictate the times so I know where to put in the sounds. So I have to stay up all night and listen to the shit. Just check it. Who's in there in my room? Just for this. Oh, that's not true. There's a pen. Good thing. What else has been going on with y'all, man?
Wait for the weekend.
Any big plans, or just chilling, sitting, drinking beers, and enjoying your wife?
I'm probably gonna have to go back to Tennessee on Saturday, visit some people. But before that, hopefully, I can get up on some of these Dave Chappelle tickets.
Oh,
Or we
snap.
go live on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
He's just gonna pop up at the Laughing Skull and do almost 3 hours and
You got
not
some
tell
new
anybody
stuff.
about it, So I missed out on that one.
You got some new stuff coming out, it looks like, huh?
Yeah. Him and Jon Stewart supposed to be coming in August, 5 shows.
Oh, wow. Let's see what sound I got. I got Bobby winning. I got Roman winning. I got Bailey and Sasha too.
What's up with Larry Fedora, man?
One too many cans of Red Bull, sir. Got out in front of his. Yeah, got out in front of his skis on that one, sir. And yeah, he's man, he is taking, like I told my buddy yesterday, I was like, boy, he is about to take a beating. And when I mean a beating over this one.
I mean, he might as well start talking about, might as well be I can't even say it. Well, might as well just start talking about climate change. Just saying the science doesn't exist for that either.
Yeah, man. That was awful, man. It was so bad. And then it's a second worst thing besides Trump that actually happened on that day. Like, Jesus. And the terrible thing about it is they're doing all of this CTE research in Chapel Hill too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's like, dude, come on. Well, everybody else at the ACC meetings, they know exactly what not to do.
Yeah.
Or how not to handle that.
Yeah. Don't Papa John's it.
Right, right. Oh, we getting three sheets DD tonight.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, she said she's leaving the bar in about 5 minutes. So we'll get started, and then we'll kind of, hopefully, by the time we get to the SmackDown part, she'll pop in. If not, I'll just be talking a whole lot tonight, fellas. So, Finn, you with me over there, man?
Yo,
Yeah, give me a little sound check for me, man. Just make sure we got a good connection for you before we start. Yeah, see, you already Optimus Priming on me. Nope, nothing there either.
I feel like I can hear myself.
Now we can hear you. So wherever you're, whatever zone or whatever little section of your place you're in right there, you're good.
All right.
Yeah, you're A1 right there.
So now I gotta hold it like when I was a young boy and I had to hold the antenna on the TV, and y'all had to do that. Yeah, I'm kind of aging myself now, you know.
Oh no, man, we all in the same age bracket, dog. Yeah, I know exactly what that is.
Wrap some foil around
Big
it.
full model TVs.
Yeah, or grab a piece like
Hell
a piece
yeah.
of tape and try to like tape it to something close by. Oh man, how far?
As soon as you touch it, it would clear up.
Right, man, how far we have come from the big antenna on the top of the house.
Good old days.
It's amazing that all of us don't have like terrible vision watching that standard definition 80s and 90s TV.
Like savage.
I mean, well, you couldn't know at this point. It was TV then.
Yeah, you're right. Cable was like a tremendous upgrade on the picture.
You ever watch an action movie from the 80s and see how terrible it is, but it was like the greatest movie ever?
Oh man, there's all 80s movies are great. What are you talking about? They're never terrible.
No, I was watching Adventures in Babysitting. I was like, I don't know. It was like a nostalgic type of, what's the word I'm thinking of? Guilty pleasure. And, it was so corny, man. It was crappy. It was, you could see set designs and all types of shit. And now you think about like how movies are now, man. It's crazy how far we've cut, what we've seen in far technology being advanced.
That's how I feel when I watch Harry and the Hendersons and be like, man, that background is so obvious. But as a kid, never noticed it once.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Watch that old movie, man, and you just like, wow, technology has like flown in like 10, 50, I mean, even like if you watch like The Matrix now, compared to how groundbreaking that was at the time, that's like slight work now. All right, so like I said, we're gonna start off with a little bit of news. The only news is really Hogan, so we'll get everybody's kind of thoughts on that, and then we'll get into the reviews of like I said, I'm gonna try to run through the pay-per-view kind of fast, so I might not go as far as I'll do a quick brief rundown who won, and then we'll kind of get everybody's thoughts about what they thought about it and kind of the state of the company right now, headed into SummerSlam, kind of where they at, how much, I think right now people are definitely on the fence when it comes to the product and the politics of the product right now.
Especially people of color.
Yeah. But like I said, it's part for the course. You knew it was gonna happen. It just needed the time. Just needed to pass, and there wasn't gonna be any way that it was gonna be a smooth transition. It's just gonna have to happen, and the fallout is gonna be what it is, like it's been right now, where it's just gonna like.
No, man, this is the meme area, and as long as you can make fun of somebody for mistakes they've made, you'll never let enough time pass for it to go over. It'll never happen. Not these days.
Well, it's Vince. I mean, the Ultimate Warrior, Jeff Jarrett. I mean, there's numerous people who've held him up for money, and Bret Hart spit in his face, knocked him out. Everybody comes back, man. There ain't nobody unless you are this one.
Yeah, but this ain't a slight against Vince, though.
They did that one thing, though.
This is not a slight against Vince, though. This is like a PR type thing with the company.
But
like all Vince can handle all his things like in house and patch up and make more money. But like when it comes to the branding of the company, I think that's kind of different.
But who do you think? There's only one guy in charge, man. I don't care who's got the title. There's only one editor, man. And that's what I think people fail to realize. It's like, don't shake in that company without Vince approving it. It ain't like, oh well, he had his back turned and they let it slide past him in the back. Nah. You know what I'm saying?
He is the guy.
Yeah, he is the guy. I
feel like all of Roman Reigns promo is just Vince talking in the mirror.
Exactly.
It is. That's it. So, all right, we'll go into official podcast mode now. So we'll say some of that good stuff. So let me get my time cue here. All right, guys. So in 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to episode 194 of the wrasslecast. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined by the wrasslecast broadcast journalist, Magnum Prime. What's going on, Greg?
5, 4, 3. I'm sorry. I got a little pay-per-view hangover there. I'm sorry. Flashback. My bad. What's up, gentlemen?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you been?
Doing well. It's almost a weekend.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Our SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Dee Jonay, will be making a run-in here shortly, we hope. So in the meantime, we are being joined tonight by a very special guest. He was our very first guest on the WrassleCast. So it's always a pleasure to get caught back up again with this gentleman. That's none other than Finn, aka I Walk Less. What's going on, Finn?
The originator, reigns supreme. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing, man? It's good to catch up with y'all.
Oh, man, it's good to catch up with you as well, man. Thank you for being able to come back on and make this booking for me, man.
All right, man. The Booker man is always good to the talent, so the talent will always be good to the Booker man.
Thank you. You don't have any problems with me, huh?
No, we ain't got no heat. No heat at all, brother.
The WrassleCast is being brought to you by CSPN, and you can find us on the web at www.cspn.us. So, guys, I'm going to step in for Sam tonight. He can't join us, but big shout out to him on this week's show. The news segment, well, there's only one piece of news, and that's that while we were being distracted by the pre-show for Extreme Rules, the WWE reinstated Hulk Hogan into all of its activities until it's into the Hall of Fame, and I guess he's going to reassume his position as a quote-unquote brand ambassador. Apparently, allegedly, he had to make a apology in front of the locker room before Extreme Rules. According to Titus O'Neil and the New Day, it kind of wasn't a sufficient apology that it didn't address the actual comment. It was more like, oh, I didn't know I was being recorded type of deal, more than, contrition type of concession speech from Hogan. So Magnum Prime, I'm gonna start with you, my friend. Your thoughts when you first saw the reports that Hogan was coming back, and now a couple of days that you've had to digest it. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it was just kind of like watching Jaws for the first time. Like you do eventually, you were gonna see the shark, and that's what happened. We saw Hogan return to the WWE. Um, Not surprised, but at the same time, I'm not happy with it at all. I don't think that he's done enough to really truly get back into the good graces of especially the people of color who are fans of the WWE. I think still he could have been a part of the WWE and the history that he has had with the company. I understand Vince wants to make money through nostalgia, but I don't think you have to have Hogan out as being some sort of representative of the company because I don't think it does any good for WWE and especially with his reputation right now. But at the same time, I understand that there are plenty of WWE fans who don't care. They don't care about what he said. They probably use that same type of language and they feel the same way that he does. So they're okay with it. It doesn't affect them and their loved ones and their children. But I think it would just be such a bad PR move and it would leave a really dirty stain on the WWE, at least for me. And I think other people of color, if Hogan is brought back into a position where he's a front man, he's a public face for that company. Is now isn't the right time. I don't think it's ever the right time again. That's my opinion.
All right. Ben, I'll pose the same question to you, my friend. Your thoughts on just Hogan being reinstated and how it make the feeling of him coming back.
Fuck Hulk Hogan and everybody that love him. And I've never really been a Hulk fan, so I don't really get the attachment. I understand what his position is, but he's a terrible person as a human being. He's not really a good person. So I fuck Hulk Hogan, man.
All right. Yeah, man. I mean, unfortunately, if you know Vince's track record, man, everybody gets.
It's not surprising.
Yeah, everybody gets back in. It's just that I'm like with Greg, it could have been a little harder. They could have made him, do some things inside the communities, before they, just brought him in. Like I said,
but none of that would be sincere, though. None of that would be sincere, and that's the main thing that Kofi and Titus was saying, that it has to be genuine and contrite. And
right.
Hulk Hogan has never been genuine and contrite.
Well, he's the ultimate
especially
worker,
like
yeah, ultimate worker.
Yeah, and the thing now is the work is not in work is backstage. So everybody knows he's full of shit. He don't realize that we know he's full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So he thinks he can just come up and be like, "Look, brother, I didn't know I was being recorded, so it's not fair."
Mm-hmm.
Eat your vitamins.
Right.
So it's never going to be a situation where it's appropriate for him to be cheered.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right.
It's just fuck Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting like $800,000 million in the
NBA. Yeah, it's definitely along with that Mae Young, not Mae Young, but the Moolah thing that came out around the time that they put the name on the little battle royal thing. It's about that same level of PR hit that they're taking right now.
Sorry. My last thing about this Hulk Hogan thing, China better be in the Hall of Fame soon. Next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, so we'll see. I think, like Greg said, hopefully that they're listening, they're seeing this backlash and how this hasn't really gone over well, and they don't put him out front of anything. He's just there so they can, peddle the merchandise and be able to keep the stuff up on the network, his matches and stuff, and that should just be it. He shouldn't be representing them in any formal capacity in any shape, form, or fashion. He shouldn't be doing any PR or promotion of pay-per-views or SummerSlam or any of that type of, stuff like that. He should just, hey, you're in
He
the
should
Hall of
be the
Fame.
white. He should be the white Virgil.
He should be the living version of Chris Benoit. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't scrub your shit, but you got lucky. But we just don't bring you up like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, because you kind of need WrestleMania 3 on the network.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They just just talk to him and say, we're gonna treat you like Benoit minus the scrubbing of all your content.
Yeah.
You can't even search for Benoit on the network, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. You just have to watch like whatever the thing is that he's in, and he just pops up in there.
Piece of shit. I hate that dude, man.
That used to be.
I'm so happy Titus called him Terry Bollea, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He not call him Hulk Hogan at all.
CB used to be my dude. Like, that was my guy. So that was really a difficult thing for me to kind of grasp. Like, what? Not my guy. He did what? So it's like, man, this sucks. So many levels. So that's basically the news for this week. So they'll be taking that hit for quite a while, but it's not a good look for Hulk Hogan or Vince or anybody in that upper management of the WWE. So we'll see how that transpires and plays itself out. So at this point, we're going to get into the Extreme Rules review that took place this past Sunday. Thank you to everybody who joined the Extreme Cast on Twitter and shared your commentary with color. It was greatly appreciated. So we're going to start with the pre-show. We had Andre Cien Almas versus Sin Cara. Almas wins with the double knees and the hammerlock DDT. Sanity defeated New Day in the tables match as Kofi got put through the table by Alexander Wolf and Eric Young. The B team, they were successful and they defeated Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt to win the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Was that surprising or kind of expected?
Very expected.
It was very expected, but also very surprising that it actually happened, because you know how the last minute thing could happen with Vince.
Yeah, I mean, we always expect the fan favorite to get over organically to get the belt, or it's not really a push because it's the tag division on Raw, but to be accomplished. So yeah, man, that was surprising for me to hear.
But the former champions, I mean, they really didn't have that much going for them. It was like they were kind of just really stuck in quicksand. So it's almost like that accomplishment. Yeah, it means a lot because they kind of worked themselves up from below the mid card, but they beat a team that's not that big of a deal anyway.
I think that's the only act that has stayed over after the Miz left.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna take this as this is my creative personally, because like in March, in April, I was tweeting this on the Rawcast like every week. Like, damn, they need to stop having them be jobbers and get beat up and actually give them some bite, and they'll get over. I promise. I know they will. And
yeah,
here we are. So
they have entirely too much personality not to.
The greatest thing ever was Bo Dallas sliding down that damn announce desk on the pro show. That shit, I've seen that shit like 50 times, and I laughed just as hard as I did the first time I saw it.
He has so many great celebration moments, man. My favorite Bo Dallas moment is when he just ran around NXT and then outside NXT. And it just kept going, man. It was he stayed in character. It was great.
Yeah, that dude is super talented, man. They just, he's just had a hard time kind of finding something that sticks. But I think this might work. So
Hopefully, man. Hopefully.
good luck for Axel and Bo Dallas there. Kurt Angle reveals that he's been negotiating with Brock. He says that Brock is refusing to return and he's going to show up at the UFC again, but he needs to show up on Raw or be stripped of the championship. Finn Balor did not count the lights, and he ended up countering the end of days into her cradle, and he got the win over Baron Corbin. And I think, Greg, that was the one match that got you the victory on Who You Got. You won with 8. Me and Sam both had 7, and I think Didi had 5.
Hey, by an inch or by a mile. Fast and the Furious. I'll take it.
Win is a win.
Yes.
The Bludgeon Brothers beat the shit out of Team Hell No backstage, and they injured Kane's ankle/leg with one of those big mallets. Carmella defends her SmackDown Women's Championship against Asuka. James Ellsworth tries to get out of the Shark Tank, gets caught up hanging out of there like a piñata. Asuka's treating him like a piñata, and then Carmella runs Asuka into the Shark Tank and pins her. And then afterwards, Asuka beats up James Ellsworth. Man, what the hell have they done to my Asuka? Jesus.
It was over, man. It was over after Mania. It was done.
I know. And I know Triple H was sitting back there just with his just head down, head shaking, like, what the hell is this shit? She was under my watch. She was the baddest woman on the planet. Legit.
Yes.
Hand her over to Vince. What the fuck?
Asuka was legit the top draw in NXT for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Over Samoa Joe and Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now James Ellsworth is yeah. It's crazy, man. I think as fans as well, it's hard to get past competitive booking in NXT and theatrical booking and on the main roster. Cause what the fuck is this?
Yeah, man. It's a thing that is twofold. They don't long-term book anymore. So, it used to be they sit around the pool and they do 6 months at a time. Like, hey, this is going to happen. 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 And then they get you 6 months and then sit back down and get you 6 more months and get you back through WrestleMania. But now that they kind of do this week to week type of stuff, it leaves gaps and it leaves holes. And the second thing they don't do anymore is they don't go with what the crowd likes anymore. Back in the day, they didn't have no plans for Stone Cold to become what he became, but they looked around and was like, oh, the crowd is getting with it. So, okay, we need to shift and start featuring them. And then, that's how they got Stone Cold. Same thing with The Rock. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really know that The Rock was going to come back and be what he became when he came back after that injury and got in with the Nation of Domination, but somebody realized and caught on and they went with it. Now they don't do that anymore. They're like, oh, if I didn't think about it and it just happens, nah, we're going to shit on that. Passion Police, we'll see what we do with them. Get out of here. Break them.
How long is that guy out?
Oh, Fandango.
Fandango.
It's gonna be a minute, man. He has shoulder surgery, I think.
Man, I feel so bad for them, especially Tyler Breeze now, man. What is he gonna do?
Yeah, see,
cash checks. But that's what he's gonna do. Cash checks.
Cash all the checks and play video games with Xavier.
Yeah.
I think in a weird way, even though it looks kind of stupid, I think they're kind of trying to protect Asuka and Becky, because it's hard not to feel that Becky's gonna not cash in, but get a run at it at SummerSlam,
right?
And you can't take it off Asuka, especially after a month. So I don't know, man. It's I just don't. The way they finish matches is dumb.
Right. Right. Well, again, that's that parody booking as well. That 50-50, we can't let anybody get on too big of a street, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not believable. Like, whatever, man.
Unless it's
Yeah.
Brock.
Right.
Right.
But Jeff Hardy, he got low blowed before the bell. The bell rings. Kazuka and Sasha, grand opening, grand closing, and Shinsuke Nakamura is your new United States champion. And then Randy Orton came down to the ring, and it looked like he was going to do some of that racist shit against Shinsuke. But nah, he actually hit Jeff Hardy in the balls again. So,
white on white crime.
Yeah, didn't know what that was about. But poor Jeff Hardy and his well being, man. That was a rough 10 minutes of action he had there.
That was some tiki torch torture right there, because both of them from like North Carolina.
We had Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens in a steel cage match. Braun chokeslammed Kevin Owens off the top of the cage to the announce table, possibly killing him, but Kevin Owens got the win because it was, the escape rule of the WWF cage match. So Kevin Owens finally got a W, but he still took the biggest L on this show. And that was a big man falling from way high up. Not only did he fall from like 25 feet, he actually had to fly out 5 feet to get to the announce table. So yeah, that's a whole lot of speed and a whole lot of impact.
He's the MVP of Raw. Well, whatever show they put him on, he's like, even though he doesn't get the stature of having the last matches and stuff, he does the most and has the most, on-screen time, it feels like.
Yeah, man, Kevin Owens is good. I think that Vince trusts him a lot, and so he gets to do a lot more in his promos, and he gets to kind of do this spec because Kevin Steen's whole steez was falling off of shit, falling through shit. So he's getting to that point now. It's taking him a couple of years, but he's finally got Vince convinced where he can kind of do that because he fell off that big ass ladder on Raw.
Yeah,
and now he got thrown off the cage. So. In the last month, he's taken 2 hellacious bumps.
No, that was at Money in the Bank, right?
Oh, yeah, Money in the Bank. There you go.
Yeah.
So still within the month, he's still taking 2 hellacious bumps.
Yeah.
The Bludgeon Brothers, they hit the Doomsday device on a dude with concussion issues, and they got the win to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I don't know who the hell booked that finish. Like, yeah, the dude with concussion issues, give him the Doomsday device. That won't hurt him.
Just knock his block off.
Right, exactly. Of course, it started out as a handicap match, and then about midway through, Kane comes out there in a walking boot, tries his best, but Team Hell No gets shut down. And it is revealed that Kane actually is jacked up in real life. He did something to his ankle or leg, something. So.
Oh, so was it a last minute call?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering because when it first happened, I was like, okay, you got me. I fell for it because I figured they Hell No was gonna win, but I wasn't thinking of like, Daniel Bryan, he hadn't signed a new contract yet. They got to get the Miz somehow. I guess they're gonna rush it for SummerSlam. But
right.
I kind of plagued myself with that prediction, but whatever.
You think the finish is because of what happened to Kane, or that was the original finish on a Wyatt family going over?
Oh, yeah, they probably changed it. I'm pretty sure the Bludgeon Brothers were supposed to probably lose because it doesn't seem like Team Hell No was set up to just be a 3-week kind of deal. I mean, they produced a T-shirt for the damn thing.
Yeah, but they had a T-shirt for Chris Jericho and AJ, too. That was like a week.
So, I don't know, man. But, yeah, it just seems like, they kind of had to do some booking on the fly there when they got there, so. Yeah.
So who's next tag team division for the Bludgeon Brothers? Because the Usos haven't been on TV. The Bar hasn't been on TV.
I don't know, man. It's probably going to be some type of tournament, 4-way big deal tag team deal coming up, probably. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any problem with them winning. I just had a problem with Daniel Bryan taking the fucking Doomsday device. As a guy who's watched Hulk, murder plenty of jobbers. With that move, it's like, geez, man, he's got concussion issues.
Man, it's Daniel Bryan, man. Did you see his chest after
Oh
the
yeah.
Great Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, look at lunch meat.
Yeah.
So that's Daniel Bryan.
Bobby Lashley, he defeated Roman Reigns with the spear in a match that actually the crowd was shitting on until Roman Reigns ate Bobby Lashley over the top rope onto the floor, and everybody was like, "Oh shit!" And then it kind of
Yeah.
picked up. They started brawling a little bit more, and the crowd was less able to kind of hijack the match. But up until that point, though, yeah, they was shitting all over this.
Yeah, shit got real
That's
when he went over.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that hurt. All right. Let's get crunk.
it was surprising for Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns to have the match of the night.
Yeah.
They really,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny to me with Roman. Like I've become like my first couple times on the show, I was like, yo, I'm sick of Roman Reigns. He's a jackass. Get him off of TV. Now, like Roman is playing all of y'all, and he is the most atmospheric guy. Like when he gets there, all the energy changes in the arena. So yeah, man, he getting all, and he's putting people over like a good top man should.
He's assumed the John Cena role that
Yeah,
John
but the
Cena
late
had.
John Cena role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one where, yeah, exactly. The one where he gets the crowd polarized, and half of them are for him and half of them are against him, but everybody is into it. Can't say that about everybody's match, but you can definitely say that about Roman.
Yeah, man, they got a super pop for Bobby Lashley on a clean pin.
Alexa Bliss defended her Raw Women's title against Nia Jax with a couple of chair shots and then a DDT onto the chair. Of course, Ronda Rousey got involved from her ringside seat, and I'm pretty sure Mickie James had to do some DDP yoga the next day because she got roughed up for real. That wasn't the smoothest attack for Ronda, but Ronda's very believable, and because she is like a baby deer trying to get her legs up under her with her timing, it does make it look more real than if she was like a smooth professional right now. So she got a huge pop with her interaction. So that's what that was for. Too bad Nia's first run with the belt was as a transitional champion, but I'm pretty sure she'll get another dominant run with it later on. Next up, AJ Styles defended the WWE Championship against Rusev Day. He hit the springboard phenomenal forearm to get the win. The biggest thing coming out of this, though, was that Aiden English fucked up and allowed exposed the turnbuckle, and Rusev ended up getting run into it, and that kind of set in motion the finish there. So
even players fuck up, man. Even players fuck up. It was just a mistake. Can't y'all just forgive him? It's been 3 years already. My bad. I'm sorry.
So this was it was a fresh match. I like that we didn't have too many interactions. We only had that one tag team match there where they actually wrestled beforehand, and it was a fresh match, and it was a good match. I thought Rusev did really well for himself. His first ever WWE Championship title match. And then we got our main event of the evening, Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship 30-minute Iron Man match. The crowd hijacked this match because they thought it was the Royal Rumble, and they were counting down every minute, the last 10 seconds of every minute. Seth Rollins got out to a 3-0 lead thanks to 2 pins and Drew McIntyre running in and beating his ass and getting Dolph DQ'd. Then Dolph came back and won 3 straight falls, and actually won 4 straight falls. He had the lead. Then Seth gets one more fall back, so of course they're tied up, and Seth hits the big he hits the blackout, but the time expires. Kurt Angle comes out. He says it will not end the draw. We get sudden death overtime. Drew McIntyre arrives and does what? Distracts Seth Rollins. So pour up, drink, and Dolph Ziggler gets the win.
That's a good friend right there, guy.
Yeah, this match could have been great. It started out hot with those, really quick falls and stuff. But once it got to the middle, they kind of slowed down, and that's when the crowd really started chanting with the clock. And then when they took the clock down to keep them from chanting, they started chanting, "We want the clock."
Assholes.
So there was one part where you could actually see Seth and Dolph actually talking to each other, and Dolph was like, "It's even worse without the clock." So I'll go around the horn here. So we'll start with Finn. What are your feelings about current WWE product, man? Ever since I think Greatest Royal Rumble, I think people have been kind of checking out left and right. But what are your thoughts on kind of the last, 4 months since Mania?
Yeah, that would be kind of accurate.
Oh, hold on for a
Play the
second,
month.
man. Hold on. You were breaking up, so get back. I just paused it, so get back in a spot for me, and then we'll get your answer again.
Yo,
A little bit more. Give me a little bit more.
yo,
Yeah. You sound good. Okay, so I'm gonna count you back in, and then I just have to answer your question again.
all right.
3, 2, 1. So Finn, are you how are your feelings currently about the current product since WrestleMania?
Yeah, man, I've become a super casual fan now. Not before. I was kind of now I'm like a casual smart because I try to keep up with what's going on and reviews on certain podcasts and things. But I don't really watch the product week to week. Some monthly shows I'll catch. NXT I'll always catch whatever they're doing for a takeover. And but I feel like what's the point of being there every week and the story never makes sense? So I know that the end or the payoff is going to be a good match, and that's pretty much what I care about now. Because whatever they do before and in the middle and all the speeches and stuff, it doesn't work for me anymore. I think I'm a jaded fan, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to get that way just because the booking.
Oversaturation.
I don't think that is the booking. I think people are just souring on the booking and
Yeah.
the people that they like, having the thumb on them, and people that the people don't necessarily like as much seem to be getting all the accolades and the pushes. So I think that's kind of what people are at right now.
It's kind of weird, man, because it's a show and you get to see your favorite people mostly, and you get to see them for a good length of time mostly. But I don't know. It's a control thing with a lot of fans, where it has to be the way they booked it. And it's sometimes it makes for entertaining piece of business, and sometimes it's where y'all just doing too much and pay attention to what's being in front of you, and then judge it upon completion. But it it's difficult these days uh, with wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Some wrestling fans.
So Greg, I posed to you the same question, man. Have you what's your feeling about the way things have been going since WrestleMania?
Let's see. I think pretty much I feel the same way. Leaving WrestleMania in the rearview mirror. Um, to me, Raw is unwatchable live. Um, I couldn't do it even if you were going to pay me a lot of money. It wouldn't be worth it to my sanity. Uh, SmackDown, I the booking at least week to week as a television product is good. It's just when they get to the pay per views, to me, they missed the bed. They totally missed the mark. But SmackDown is a product that I could watch every week. I could watch that. Could watch that live. Um, I'm just not really surprised by the state of the WWE because at the end of the day, it's a publicly traded company. As long as the stockholders are happy, they've got $1 billion coming in. They're probably going to get another billion from NBC, Universal, it really doesn't matter what the fans want at this point. Because
Mhm.
I talked to you a little bit earlier this week, um, off off air, about how I see the WWE proceeding with their business practices now.
Right.
They're just television shows. It's not any type of competitive, entertaining product anymore. As long as they get their television rights, they're gonna be happy with it. They're not gonna care about the attendance that's showing up. They're not. They don't care about the fans at this point.
Right.
Not in WWE. Maybe in NXT, but not in the WWE.
The WWE's business has totally gone from a put butts in seats in the arena, sell the big show at the end of the month or every 2 months, to we get rights fees like the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, and we got our money, and it doesn't matter if we sell the arenas out or not, because like you said, we got billions of dollars coming in now. And if the attendance is light, okay, we just raise the ticket prices and we just raise up the merch prices and we'll make it up for it. That's how they're looking at it now. The actual wrestling attendance and that part of the thing is kind of secondary, because all the money that used to be generated from the live gate and the pay-per-view is coming from Fox in 2019.
Mm.
So I think that's the biggest change in the product from what we grew up with, where it was talk them into the live show. If you want to see a good match, you got to come out to the arena and pay for it. You'll never see it on TV unless it gets ended by disqualification or we're shooting the angle. But if you want to see the real deal, you got to come out and watch it. You got to come see it. Now they just put everything that you want to see on TV, and when you go to the live event, you just get guys having fun. So it's a total 180 from what we grew up with. And I think a lot of us are still having issues because it's like, it's not supposed to be this way. The people who are the fans like back in the day would eventually rise to the top. And I think that's what a lot of fans are having a problem with, is that now their voice isn't heard like it used to be. Stone Cold would never be what he was if the fans didn't take to his promos. But once they started taking to his promos, WWE had to do a 180 and say, okay, well, we got to push him. And they did. And the fans were like, yeah, we did that. But now you can't, that doesn't work. So that's kind of where they are in my estimation. So just to let everybody know, once again, this is the wrasslecast. I'm your host, Don Delarente. I'm being joined tonight by the Rawcast broadcast journalist, none other than Magnum Prime, aka Greg, and our special guest, Finn, I Walk Less on Twitter. So we're gonna get to
who else?
Oh, Miss Didi Jonier. I didn't hear your music.
With the run in.
Right
Hi,
here.
y'all.
What's up?
They got back with a chair.
Listen, I come prepared.
How you doing, Didi?
I'm good, friend. How are you?
Life is grand.
Good.
So, Miss Didi, we'll get your thoughts on the first of all, Hulk Hogan coming back into the fold. Your thoughts, please.
Much like the New Day said, it's not up to Black people to forgive him because he said he's sorry. Anybody with common sense should know that he's only sorry he got caught, and it's up to him to be remorseful, look remorseful, act remorseful, and then we can talk about it and act like it makes sense on a personal level. Of course, on a skill level, fame level, of course he belongs in the Hall of Fame. That's not the question. The question is, do you want to put a blatant racist, a man who said, I'm a racist, do you want to put him back in the Hall of Fame? And the fact that you have WWE is problematic. And it's not up to white people to say, hey, he said he was sorry. Who cares what he said? People lie all the time, So that's my take on it. I don't see it for him. Randy Savage would never. So I'll stick with my fave. He can be over there doing whatever he does with that suspicious hairline of his.
And we just finished up the Extreme Rules review. So anything that stood out to you that you want to talk about that before we move on to Monday Night Raw?
No.
Okay.
Perfect.
I tried to think about it, and the answer is no.
All right.
I wanted to go back and rewatch it, but the WWE app that somebody pays $9.99 for didn't want to start from the beginning, so I never saw the beginning. Every time I hit beginning, it would start at Team Hell No. So
Okay.
they don't want to win. That's the thing with the WWE. They don't want to win.
They really don't.
And I can't make them want it, So we'll just be here in stasis where you start a pay-per-view at 6 p.m. and it ends at 10:45, and we all pretend like that's okay. And it's boring to awful. But
no, that thing ended at like 11:15. What you talking about?
No, it didn't.
It was like I thought it was like 11 o'clock. After 11 o'clock.
It was. Believe me, man. You know my situation will work. Okay, it ended at the perfect time on Sunday night. Okay, it was before 11.
10:45,
it was a
and
miracle.
Then it was like it was the
the pre-show ran until like right at like 11:05 or something.
It was them people, Renee and the guy who has the awful hair. Yeah,
Sam Roberts.
Yes. There you go. Yeah. But yeah, so
did you watch that?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think about Dallas sliding down the table?
He's my favorite person on earth. I love him so much.
Because at first when he starts getting on the table, I thought he was going to stand on it. And Renee's like, "Oh, be careful! What are you doing?" And slid down it, and I was done. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is the greatest celebration in the history of celebrations."
Like, he's the best. Full stop. He's my favorite.
All right, so we'll get into a little bit of Monday Night Raw that came at us from Buffalo, New York. Kurt Angle comes down. He says he hadn't heard from Brock, so he's about to strip. And then Paul Heyman comes out and says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 we're here. All right, man, I'll agree to defend the championship." And then, of course, we get the parade of superstars coming out who says that, they desire a title shot. So we get Bobby Lashley, we get Drew McIntyre, we get Seth Rollins, we get Elias, we get Finn Balor, and of course, Roman Reigns. And everybody talks about why they should be the ones to face Brock. So Kurt Angle decides that he's going to make 2 triple threat matches to determine a number 1 contenders match at next week's Raw. So the first match that's going to be set up is going to be Drew McIntyre versus Finn versus Roman Reigns. And that match started right now. And the match ended with Roman Reigns spearing Finn Balor for the win. So Roman Reigns will qualify for the match next week. Thoughts, concerned? Nothing? Okay. Next up, Bayley. She meets with Kurt Angle, and they discuss their counseling. Bayley says it didn't go well. She doesn't think that her and Sasha will be friends, so Angle books Bayley and Sasha versus Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox. And he says if they can't get along, one of them will be traded to SmackDown. Didi, you with me?
Yes.
What do you think about this particular Bayley and Sasha little situation with just counseling here with Kurt Angle?
I think it is a valid critique to say if you can't get along, we're going to split you up. However, none of this really, I don't get the point.
Like, why can't they just fight?
Let them fight, or, shocker, make tag women's titles so it makes sense why we care that they're together, because who gives a fuck if they're friends? Right. Nobody cares.
I think that's the only way to save this is to introduce a women's tag title.
It's the only reason why it makes sense.
Because it's a wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
Why are you encouraging them to get along when it's only one women's title?
Exactly. What is the purpose of them getting along? They get along to do what? Fight each other again in 3 months so they can be the number 1 contender? for that one
No,
title that they have. Like that doesn't make sense. It
it's
makes
not
more
even for a
sense.
contendership. That's the bad part about it.
Yeah. It's just to say, hey, we're around if you want to put us in
Yeah.
some kind of fancy match. But like it's right there. It's like, hey, girl, we're about to introduce tag titles for women, and it doesn't work if you're not together. Because nobody else
Mhm.
likes y'all asses. Like that could work. But like, but to just have nothing and just be like, I really want you all to get along for reasons.
Reasons.
Like it just doesn't make sense. And I'm just saying, you all could hire me. I can make it make sense. Help me help you.
Yeah,
Help.
it's been a different it's like they started it out, they teased it, they teased it, they teased it, they teased it, nothing really happened. Then we had the big
Mm-hmm.
locker room thing, and it was like, okay, we finally gonna get something happened. Then it was like, oh, that didn't happen. And then we went a couple of more weeks and nothing happened. Then we finally got the big Bailey beat down, and then it was like, okay, finally, now we about to get it popping. And then Kurt Angle sends him to counseling, and then we get this bullshit.
Right.
Like, come on, man. Does
And
Vince
now
not
they're in love.
does Vince not like money these days? Because that's a money program.
I don't know why. It's one of those things where it's just like it seems obvious to me on the outside looking in that if we're having the Divas Revolution and we have 8 to 10 chicks, all of them can't vie for the same title. Why wouldn't you have tag titles? Instead, you make a theme where your two pretty most, besides Ronda, your two most famous girls who are besties are fighting, and we really want them to get along. It seems like somebody in the back will be like, "Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
What's the reason why they need to get along? There
Right.
is no reason. It's easy when you have the Hardy Boys not getting along, when you have the Usos not getting along. It makes sense why you need them to get along. It makes sense why you need Team Hell No to get along. There's no reason for Bailey and Sasha to get along unless there are tag titles in the mix, and there aren't, so it has no stakes, so it's stupid.
Yep. Dolph Ziggler comes out. He brags about main event in the pay-per-view. He takes full credit for it. Said he respects Seth Rollins for building the IC title, but he's no Dolph Ziggler. And he said he beat Seth Rollins 5 times in one night. Then the glorious Bobby Roode makes his entrance. Roode basically wants to get a title match. Dolph Ziggler says, yeah, we'll get a match, but it just won't be for the title. So Bobby Roode jumps off the rope, tweaks his knee, catches a super kick from Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler wins the title. Wins the match, not the title. Bobby Lashley cuts a promo about tonight's match, saying that he can and he will defeat Brock at SummerSlam. Backstage, Mojo Rawley comes up to Bobby Roode and basically claps for him and laughs at him for losing like the last 3 weeks in a row. Then Mojo goes out there and beats the hell out of Tyler Breeze. He hits him with a running forearm and an Alabama slam, and he gets the win. What'd you think about your boy, Spicy White Mojo? He getting some promo time, and he's won about 3-4 matches in a row on Raw. Miss Didi, that's for you.
Ah,
Yeah, because Mojo is not my guy.
Bailey and Sasha Banks, they faced off with Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke. Basically, Fox attacks Bailey and Sasha makes the save and takes out Dana Brooke and just kind of like walks out on the match. They show the two backstage, and basically Sasha Banks says that she loves Bailey, and it's like, can't you see? It's so obvious. I love you. So I guess they're going to be the hugging lovers now, I guess.
Didn't this shit start over like the championship? She kicked her ass because they was in a elimination match. No, the elimination chamber.
Right.
And she did the Lion King and kicked off the stage.
Right.
That was in fucking February. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, this has devolved a lot.
Yeah, so
There's it's like coming down a canyon. There's turns. You don't know where the fuck you going. It just keeps on tumbling.
Yeah, it's been a long road to get us to here, and we're still not any closer to having this thing resolved. So we'll see what
But you know
happens.
they always have Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, the site of the greatest women's match in the history of WWE.
Which is, by chance where SummerSlam is.
Yeah, it is. And Brooklyn is Sasha Banks' city, man. Even though she's like, from Boston and everything, that's her hometown. Brooklyn is really where Sasha Banks shines. So maybe
Yep.
she'll get back in that spotlight one more time. We get highlights of Kevin taking that big Mick Foley tribute bump from Extreme Rules. Renee interviews Braun. Braun regrets he wasn't able to congratulate Kevin on his win. When asked about not walking out there to stake his claim at wrestling Brock Lesnar, he says he didn't need to because he's got the money in the bank. Briefcase. The B team defended their titles against the Ascension. They win with the double team net breaker on Victor. Matt and Bray come on the screen. They cut a promo and they say that they're invoking their rematch clause for next week. Alexa comes out. She gloats about being the champion and completing the story against Nia and how she defeated the bully. She says that she's dominated the division due to her smarts, and outsmarting Nia wasn't that hard. She says she's beaten everyone in that locker room, and then the crowd starts chanting Ronda Rousey. But she says Ronda doesn't count because she's suspended. So she said that, Ronda should have been arrested because she, attacked them and she was a fan. Then Ronda comes down through the crowd. Alexa and Mickey try to run. Ronda cuts them off at the stage. Man, Ronda grabbed Mickey, slammed her down, put her in the armbar. Luckily, the officials dragged her out. They're walking up the stage with all the referees and everything. And, man, Ronda comes and just splashes everybody, knocks everybody down. She grabs Alexa, drags Alexa to the ring, puts her in the armbar. Luckily, Kurt Angle comes out to stop it. Angle says that Ronda has a couple of days left on her suspension and she needs to go home. Baron Corbin comes out.
Can't you go to counseling?
Baron Corbin comes out and says that Ronda needs to be reprimanded. So Angle adds another week on to the suspension. Corbin is pissed, saying that Stephanie won't like that, and he's going to call Stephanie and tell on Angle. But he can't find his. But he can't find his phone. So he goes to the back to go get his phone, and Angle pulls Baron Corbin's phone out of his pocket. And he basically gave Ronda Rousey a match against Alexa at SummerSlam for the Raw Women's Championship.
Okay, so you get put on suspension. You violate your suspension. And you get a title chance. Solid booking.
Well, they're kind of booking her kind of like a mini Stone Cold where she's kind of doing her own thing and it's benefiting her. So
yeah, but they book all the faces like that.
Except
None
for
of this is any different.
Except for Roman, they never booked them like that. If they would have booked him
Roman
like
did
that,
whatever the hell you want to do. Beat whoever you want to beat. And then complained about not getting enough opportunities. But he did whatever he wanted to do.
So
for like two straight years, Roman Reigns was Thanos. But that's perfect. Thanos is the protagonist, and everybody feels like he's the antagonist.
Charlie interviews Seth Rollins. He says he loves and respects Roman, but if he has to go through him to get to the title, then he will. The Authors of Pain versus Titles of Worldwide. The last chapter finishes Apollo Crews. And that might be about, if I was Apollo Crews, I'm about 2 more jobs away from being like, I need to get up out of Titus Worldwide. Because ain't nothing good happening to that man.
I don't think there's anything good happening for them either. Like, except for those chicks, keep chasing
them. What was that? LiAngelo Ball saying nigga on TV during that Ball family segment fucked their whole
that
shit
nigga
up.
ass.
Yeah, it fucked their whole shit up because Titus Worldwide was actually catching on with that, but that particular little blurb of the tongue shut their whole push down. Ember Moon. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, Titus every once in a while gets like a little push, but it was gonna be the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
They're gonna forget about him in like too much time, and that was it.
Ember Moon
But he's
faced
gonna keep doing those
those.
uh be a dad parenting things. He's like great for that.
Oh yeah, that's his deal. Ember, she got beat by Sarah Logan because Liv Morgan distracted her, and
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Logan cut off Ember Moon, and she got the cover and got the win. So sorry that it happened. It had to happen to Ember Bay, but distraction finish drinking is always fun. Then we got our main event.
How do you feel about Ember getting her first loss?
I mean, it was time. 50-50 booking. She'd won like 7 matches in a row. So it's time for her to kind of lose. And she got distracted. So it doesn't necessarily, it's not clean in the middle. So, she's got a reason to justify why she lost. So it's all right.
Good deal.
Main event time. Elias versus Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley to make up the other half of next week's number 1 contenders match. Rollins voids the spear and hits a super kick, but Elias pulls him to the floor. Elias gets speared by Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley will go on to face Roman Reigns next Monday night to determine who will face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
Boo! Nobody cares.
Now this is why we're talking about how dumb this is, right? This is such circular booking. We just saw this match at Extreme Rules. Bobby Lashley won. Okay, why couldn't that just
24 hours ago?
Right? Why couldn't that just be the de facto winner and become the number 1 contender? You come out the next night once he agrees that he's gonna defend the belt. You just say, okay, Bobby Lashley, since he beat Roman, gets the spot, and then you pump this up for a month like a real boxing match, UFC match between these 2 big horses. Show him training, have Brock come in, cut his little sit-down interview where he says he don't give a shit about Bobby Lashley. Brock is get to cuss on TV. Have them, do their one brawl and then get to the money instead of having this bullshit ass Roman Reigns match again that nobody wants to see.
So is Roman the default number 1 contender?
I guess so. Because
he didn't have to be in this match. He lost the match to Bobby. Bobby had to put in a multi-man match, and then he gets to fight Roman again for the opportunity again to beat Brock.
Yeah,
that's circular booking, man. That's what you said.
Yeah, it's circular, man. They went back to the thing we just saw for no reason. I don't get it, but that was Monday Night Raw for this week. So at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Didi Jonet for our SmackDown Matters report.
Oh my God, so many things happened. Would you believe they were in Wilkes-Barre? I don't know where that is, but that's where they were.
Scranton, take me to the moon.
I want to go to Scranton just because I've seen a lot of Office in my day. I want to see if there's like a real Michael Scott there. But they're in Wilkes-Barre. Jeff Hardy's out to kick off the show. He's still recovering from multiple dick attacks. He says...
Wait.
Yeah. It's happened multiple times. Yeah.
Dick attacks.
Yeah, it's real. So he's got on the face paint. He's got the kind of face paint on where you close your eyes and the eyes still look like they're open. So it's very creepy. Yes, indeed. With his eyes closed, he says he looks like Jeff Hardy, but something's missing. His heart is broken. Since losing the U.S. title, he runs down Nakamura for his lack of morals and calls him a jackass. He knows Nakamura low-blowed him because he had to in order to win. Jeff is here to deliver pain, to make Nakamura what? Obsolete, and to win back his title. Backstage,
Brother Nero, I knew you'd come.
He's coming back. At some point, he opened his eyes and he has like those creepy
white
contacts on. So like his eyeballs look like all white. creepy.
Yeah, I know how you don't like Rosemary
And I
and
don't.
and that other chick, so I know that creeps you out.
I don't like Rosemary. I don't like the Dead Bride. There was a damn doll on Lucha Underground, but we'll get to that. It was just not a good time in general. Like I was like, why is everything creepy? But yeah, so he calls Nakamura obsolete and he's going to win his title back. Backstage, Nakamura calls Jeff a sad clown that wears paint to hide his tears, but now the title is his and that's cause to smile. He'll make the clown cry again tonight. And then, and then he says, God bless America.
I almost caught an asthma attack laughing at that shit.
Like, I don't always pay attention to SmackDown, but I heard him say that. And I was like, what? Just messy. That's my kind of carrying on.
He's the pettiest heel. The pettiest heel in the business.
He's good. You can't name anybody better.
But what makes the promo so great is the way that Renee carries it. Renee's if you notice, she's the only one who interviews him, and it works to perfection. Because especially with this heel turn, I don't speak English and all that stuff. She just is so disgusted holding that microphone for him. It's great. I love it.
I wish you would tell me you don't speak English. Sometimes I wish the announcers could have a little more personality, because I would be amused personally, but it seems like announcers and interviewers always take like the gasp. Can you believe the heel did a heel thing? And it's like, yeah, I can, and it was great. But anyway,
you really be on here giving them ideas weekly.
They don't listen, and they don't send me a check. So it's like, I guess I'd rather you don't listen and then don't pay me. But you can listen and pay me. Like, I negotiate.
I'm not opposed to getting money.
Go get the money. Go. I met a millionaire today. She was dry. She was like, oh, yeah, I made an app. What? Sold it for 6 figures. What? I don't contract with anything less than 100K. Really?
So casual about it.
Tell me more about how you're winning in life. It was amazing. I never felt so unaccomplished, but I was like, oh damn.
I'm a poor.
Really? I really was like, help me, I'm poor. Just like the girl off Bridesmaids. But anyway, so the first match of the night, I was gonna say next, but no.
You know who's also flourishing though before you get here to set this up? Zelina Vega, man.
Yeah.
She took Almas from wrestling on the pre-show 2 nights ago to get ready to do what you're getting ready to talk about right now.
Yeah. It ended how all his matches end, but we'll get there. The match was Andrade Cien Almas versus AJ Styles. CCC. They work up to the top rope and Almas cuts AJ off and the double stomp connects. Then the double knees connect and Almas covers for a good near fall. Almas looks for the hammer like DDT, but AJ counters out and into the calf crusher, and Almas has no choice but to tap. Man. So there's that.
That was a good match, though. He was hanging with AJ. That was a good showcase.
AJ is John Cena, and I just want everybody to acknowledge that now. Thank you.
For a guy that Vince didn't want nothing to do with for like 15 years, he sure is making up for it.
Like, listen, we could make it even. Like, I don't need 50-50 booking, but could I get 75-25? Could I get 80-20, 95-15, 95-5? Like,
yeah, they could have had Zelina like interfere and get almost a win just to give him the rub. That would have worked.
I mean, it don't gotta be clean. I don't need my heels to just be better, although they usually are. Like anything, because like I said, even when he was facing Nakamura, he never lost. It was either a draw, a double count out, or a win. Right. AJ never lost. And so my thing is, like, you don't have no off days, you don't have the flu, you're not tired, You ain't blink at the wrong time. You just never lose. You're just that fucking good. Really? You're about 50.
He is
What do you mean?
phenomenal.
He's got stock
I
down
like.
here, so he ain't that great. Like,
I mean, he lives up to his name, his tag. He is phenomenal,
he
and
is
he makes everyone
phenomenal.
look great.
Yeah, that's fine. But if Brock, listen, I don't care. If Brock can sit up there and be pinned in a minute, because yeah, that happened and I remember. Thank you, Goldberg. Then every now and again, AJ needs to lose. I'm not saying it needs to be frequent. I'm not saying he needs to drop the title.
So
But
what was
shit,
his last loss?
months ago.
Brock was Brock his last loss?
I would imagine one of his last losses was a tag match where he didn't get pinned.
Tag matches don't count. We talking about
Exactly.
1-on-1.
Exactly. I don't know. I can't
We heard from
recall.
Kurt Angle. We learned from the Olympic gold medalist.
I can't recall AJ's last loss. It certainly wasn't with Nakamura. So it had to
I
have been
feel like it
before
was
that.
Survivor Series.
That sounds like that was a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm
What?
disgusted. I mean, it's just a personal feeling. I feel like he should lose every now and again. But in any case, Aiden English meets with Lana backstage to apologize. He says he can't take back his mistake and he knows he ruined Rusev's chances. He begs Lana to talk with Rusev for him. Lana says that Rusev needs his space. She questions if he's good for Rusev. Aiden says he's always had Rusev's back and owes a lot to him. He just wants a second chance. First of all, Aiden is the propagator, the creator of Rusev Day, the musical. And I will not have you denigrating his talents and his love for Rusev. He doesn't deserve.
You shall not question his loyalty.
Damn right.
I hope the sun does not set on Rusev Day. I hope they make this work.
It needs to result in a title. I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm not sorry. It needs to result in a title. I don't know which one. I don't necessarily care. But it's just so good. It should be rewarded.
Yeah, they could be that babyface tag team that SmackDown doesn't have right now.
Yeah, I think they're trying to like bring it back with Team Hell No, but it's like you have it right here.
But
Use
Kane,
it.
I think Kane's gone with the injury to his ankle, so he's out the door, buddy.
Oh, he has a real injury?
Yep, it's legit.
Well, that's what happens when you're 60. Anyway, Becky Lynch versus Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose locks on a version of the octopus hold, and then Becky fights out and rolls her up for a 2 count, and then she follows with a clothesline and a drop kick. Then the exploder follows, and Becky applies the disarm her, and Mandy taps. Post-match promo time for Becky. She says she loves winning and that she's just getting started. She says she's coming for Carmella and wants to win the title again. Backstage, Paige meets with Carmella and praises Becky. Carmella talks about beating Charlotte and Asuka not once, but twice. And she says she wants another celebration next week. She doesn't quite ask, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a demand. It's just more like a
strong
I'm going to say
suggestion.
this thing. Yeah, I'm going to say this thing and you're going to do it. Yeah, yeah. So, but then Paige is like, sure, girl. If Carmella can beat Becky next week in a non-title match, however, if Becky wins this match, Carmella will defend against Becky at SummerSlam. Dun, dun, dun. Also backstage, R-Truth, who's still around, meets with Ty Dillinger. Ty is about to die at the hands of Samoa Joe. Voluntarily sounds like, because those people don't make the best choices.
This was actually a
He's
pretty good
Canadian.
use of R-Truth, though. This was funny as shit. Todd Dillinger thought R-Truth was trying to give him one of his, pep talks or whatever. And R-Truth was actually on the phone with his mama. And he was like, what you doing, man? I told you don't go messing up. Go mess with Samoa Joe.
He was like that old fellow. Old fellas be like videos. Did y'all see that on the Twitter?
Yeah.
That's his gimmick now. How many times do you think R-Truth actually flies out to the show?
Oh, every week, buddy.
Yeah, he gets his check.
He didn't. He eating all. He probably propped up right next to the fruits, the finest of vegetables, and catering every week.
Yeah,
He ain't catering happy.
craft services is always where you want to be
Yeah.
at
Like, why
all
y'all ain't tell me
times.
this cheese was so damn good? This is good ass cheese.
All right, so the match we're all been waiting for, or something. Samoa Joe versus Ty Dillinger. He's all fired up, Ty is, and he attacks before the bell. They spill onto the floor, and Dillinger lays in knee strikes until Joe posts him. Then he rolls him into the ring and ruins his day with strikes and kicks. Joe follows with knee strikes, and the Coquina Clutch finishes Ty Dillinger off. Oh.
It was a good try, Ty. I like this fight. He had a good idea to try to start fast, but yeah, didn't end up good for him in the end.
It was some kind of try. I don't know if I call it a good one.
Hey,
The
man, Ty
Miz.
Dillinger is winning in life.
Is he?
Yeah, you go home, lay down with Peyton Royce. Life is good.
Whoa, what? Oh,
Peyton Royce.
whoa.
Oh,
What?
is this breaking news?
For me, it is. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Ty Dillinger and half of the Iconics. Yeah, man.
Since when?
A good while, I think.
A
I don't
good
know. It's like,
while. How good of
yeah,
a while?
at least
Bitch.
WrestleMania.
Google says they've been dating for more than 3 years.
Oh, 3 years. Shit.
That's what Google says.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wait, they were ice skating together. People do that when they're dating. Yeah, they're together. Oh, poor Donald.
I feel like Dee Dee now. All my faves are taken.
Listen, they're all taken. If I find out Elias is married, I'm just gonna throw it all away. I can't.
Chuck it all in the garbage. Fuck all this.
Just be like, it's not. I can't. Anyway, so the Miz is going to host Team Hell No's funeral. He arrives to funeral music. There's Kane's mask on a mannequin head being wheeled out by pallbearers. Miz is subdued, but quickly promotes his new show.
You know what was the funniest thing about this?
Tell me.
When he's walking to the ring, he's like shaking the fans' hands like the pastor does when he's walking down the aisle and to the funeral. Then get to the family, he starts shaking everybody's hand in the front row. That's what he was doing before he got in the ring.
Thank you for attending, brother. It's good to see you, sister.
He really did do that. Oh my Lord. Excuse me. I had 4 margaritas. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Never apologize for margaritas.
The last 2 are mango. It was amazing. He praises Kane and Bryan as a great team, but noted that they are horrible friends. Miz mentions Kane nearly ended Bryan's career and says that the Bludgeon Brothers ended them as a team. He asks for a moment of silence and then says, "He told us so." He then mocks Daniel Bryan for failing once again, calling him a sad man. The truth is, Daniel Bryan's return has been a bust, and he's done nothing but destroy his legacy, and his career is dead. They're staring at the big screen, and out of nowhere, Daniel Bryan arrives, attacking Miz from behind and starts suplexing the pallbearers. Miz runs, and Daniel Bryan kills a pallbearer with a busaiku knee and points at the Miz.
Yeah, man, that poor black pallbearer boy, he got jacked up. That German suplex, he landed squaw on his neck and head.
You know that's racism, right?
Yeah, it's been kind of.
And he needs to go to counseling now.
Everybody got anger management problems.
Seriously.
Everybody's angry. Next
up is fighting. Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine. Eric Young versus Kofi Kingston. Kofi wipes out Sanity with a big dive back in the ring. The SOS gets a 2 count for Kofi. Then he goes up top and Wolf distracts him. The others brawl to the floor. Killian Dane tosses Xavier into Kofi, allowing Eric to get the wheelbarrow neck breaker for the win. How did we feel? Did we care?
It was a good match. Eric Young and Kofi Kingston surprisingly had a really good match. Killian Dane is the shit, and it was kind of cool how that finish happened, where he literally just threw Xavier into him and knocked him back into that wheelbarrow net breaker.
Yeah, it was great timing because it didn't seem like a let me just wait until he gets there. It really was just like, and I'm gonna throw you. Oh, you hit the guy. Great. Wonderful happenstance, which we all know it wasn't, but kayfabe, as long as it looks like it was. Your final event, your final match of the night. Shinsuke versus Jeff. Nakamura looks for the Kinshasa, but Jeff cuts Nakamura off and heads up top. He cuts Jeff off with kicks. A Kinshasa is countered into a twist of fate. Jeff goes up top and the Swanton connects, but guess who arrives for the DQ? You're not guessing.
All lives matter.
All lives matter, except your black ass one. Randy Orton arrives for the DQ. He kicks the shit out of Jeff and stomps his head onto the steps. Orton says Jeff will have to wait and find out why he did what he did. He then tries to rip off one of his earrings. Orton tosses Jeff over the announce tables, and agents arrive to stop the insanity. Orton clears off the table and continues his assault, and then a draping DDT to the floor follows. And that is your SmackDown report for the week.
Man, that was a very disturbing watching Randy Orton put his finger in the gauge hole and pull Jeff Hardy's ear, like really zoomed in up close and tight. Like, oh my gosh. Even the people in the crowd were like horrified. Like, this is okay, Randy. It's too much. It's too much.
Weird guy there.
Yeah, man.
Why
Randy.
doesn't Jeff Hardy have any friends, man? I feel like somebody would come out and help after just getting your ass beat by Randy Orton.
Yeah, I can't imagine that many people really like Randy, so must be his magic or something.
Yeah, must be. But that was a really fun edition of SmackDown. I was thoroughly entertained. I thought it was much easier to get through than Raw, but I'm having Naomi withdraw. She needs to pop back up on the SmackDown here soon.
Who?
Naomi.
Oh yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
the neon green one.
So at this point, we're just letting you know that this is the wrasslecast, and we're being brought to you by the CSPN. You can also find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. We're going to talk some Lucha Underground as we have Paul London wrestle Desmond X, or AKA Desmond Xavier, for the Aztec medallion. London hits the double knees, but Desmond X ends up rolling him up and he gets the win. So in his debut match, he gets the win and he gets put into the Aztec Medallion Championship match. So Desmond X, Dragon Azteca Jr., King Cuerno, Ivelisse, the Mac, Son of Havoc, and Mil Muertes now hold the 7 Aztec medallions. Antonio Cueto arrives and he has the Gift of the Gods title with him. Gift of the Gods title match will take place next week. He praises the talent and says next week will be epic. He calls out all of the fighters to place their medallions into the title to lock them into the match. They arrive and everybody places their medallions into the title, and then all 7 competitors step into the ring. Antonio says that he has a surprise and announces that only 6 will be able to compete. He's making a battle royal, and the winner decides who is out. So we get the special Gift of the Gods battle royal. They all brawl. Cuerno is eliminated, and then Ivelisse is eliminated. Desmond X is gone as well, and Mil Muertes is the one who tossed them all out. Son of Havoc then tosses out Mil Muertes and Dragon Azteca, and we're down to Son of Havoc and the Mac. Then the Son of Havoc eliminates himself, trying to make a deal with the Mac. So Mac chooses to eliminate Mil Muertes because he says, truthfully, he scares the shit out of him. The Mac bails, and Muertes kicks the shit out of everybody else. And then next week, we're going to have all 7 competitors compete for the Gift of the Gods title. I know this disturbed Didi, this next match. Johnny Mundo versus the Luchasaurus. Vibara. The Luchasaurus heads up top, and Mundo cuts him off with a series of kicks. You get a headbutt by the Luchasaurus, but Mundo hits an enzuigiri. The Luchasaurus hits another choke slam, and he gets the win. Post-match, the Reptiles and the Worldwide Underground break out into a big brawl. Didi, can I get your opinion on this next part? You still with me? Or not? So we see Exolicious working out as Jack Evans complains about being embarrassed. Ricky Mundo approves and starts to make fun of him and his creepy doll. The doll tells Mundo to do what he did to Angelico. Next up, Pentagon versus Brian Cage for the Lucha Underground title. Brian Cage cuts off Pentagon and hits a sit-out electric chair, slam, and covers for 2. Pentagon fires back with kicks and follows with 2 destroyers. The package power driver connects, and Pentagon Jr. retains the title. Post-match, Pentagon lays out Brian Cage and tries to break his arm. But Cage counters out and hits an F5 onto the title belt. Cage then says that he's a machine and that Pentagon can't break his arm. So that final match was full of violence, exactly like I like to see from our Pentagon Jr. matches. And this was a pretty good episode of Lucha Underground. So next up, we're going to move into NXT as we had Dakota Kai versus Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans fights back with a slam, but Dakota Kai connects with another kick and then misses an enziguri. The women's right connects, and Lacey Evans picks up the win. You get a Ricochet promo where he's talking about he wants to face Adam Cole for the North American title. Then we get a Street
Take my money.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. Then we get a Streets Profits vignette where they're playing basketball. They're training, coming back up, and they're ready. They're coming for the mighty. EC3 walks and talks about his issues with the Velveteen Dream. Then he pulls out his new T-shirt and he gives it to a fan because he's rich. Then he meets with Kona Reeves. Reeves compliments him but tells him that all of his shit is the finest, unlike EC3's. EC3 runs him down and challenges him to a fight, but Reeves backs off. Reeves teases that they could have been the best of friends. This was actually pretty cool. EC3 and Kona Reeves having like a rich off. That was kind of cool. We get a video package on next week's NXT Championship match between Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa. Man, this thing was so good. All of the video packages I'm about to talk about in this week's episode were very well done. We had
saw Velveteen Dream video package. That was really good.
Oh yeah, it's really dope. We had Cassius Ono versus a local talent. They lock up. Cassius Ono takes him down, and then he hits him with the roaring elbow, knocks him out, and he gets the win. The Undisputed Era cut a promo about how great they are. Cole runs down Ricochet and says, if you anger them, you win. We get a War Raiders video package breaking down their history in wrestling and how they became a team. They also explain them embracing the Viking culture and how they grew up in Japan and Europe. They said that no one on earth can stop them. And they also talked about Rose's motorcycle accident, which could have ended his life. He says he overcame death, so good luck defeating them. They are unique and different and bring a fight and a style no one else can, and they have earned the right to raid NXT, and no one can stop them. He says they are going to take the gold and break everyone. The war is here in NXT. Then we get
that's what talking about some large goals.
Yeah, those boys can go though, man. To be as big as they are, they're really good. Again, another video package, character development. You know, it showed them with the IWGP Championship, showed them with the ROH Championship, showed them with the Progress Championships. Yeah, they showed all the belts, man. It's like, wow, look at all these belts they're putting up here. Yeah, so it was really cool to see them.
It was a clear statement. We are the best across the world, and we're going to show you that we are the best here again.
Right. So really good deal.
Hey, quick question.
How
long is Bobby Fish out?
He had an ACL.
Bobby Fish needs to come back.
He had an ACL, so he's going to be out for a few more months here. We get that Velveteen Dream promo that Finn was talking about with all of his special effects. He teases his next experience and runs down his greatest takeover moments. And he says in Brooklyn, the spotlight will be back on him. So this was really well done. Oh yeah, man, he is so good. And to be so young too, man. He's got so much down at such a young age.
To have a clear vision of what your character is, and to be able to put it out there, and it oozes out of you. It's not like exposition. It is him. It is Velveteen Dream, and his music has a lot to do with that too, to be honest. And man, he I would say like remember when Tyson Kidd was like the workhorse of NXT, but like kind of hard. He has that right now, but he's gonna climb up top. But that guy is, and he's only 22, man. That's a fuck.
Yeah, he's got a bright future, man. So next up, we get our main event. We have Candice LeRae versus Kairi Sane versus Nikki Cross. This was scheduled to be a 4-way, but I don't know what's real or what's not. There was a report that Bianca Belair was injured, but she also just got married, so she might have just been on her honeymoon, and they just threw that injury in there just to kind of play it up for
TV.
Face. Yeah, but I don't know. So she may be injured, or she may have just went on her honeymoon. But either way, she wasn't in this match, unfortunately.
She did just go on a honeymoon, though, to be.
Yeah. So I mean, it may
Black
be
excellence.
It may be both. She may have actually does have a back injury, and she went on her honeymoon too. So, Kairi Sane,
she probably got a honeymoon injury.
You know what? When it first came out that she had a back injury, that's where my first thought went. Like, goddamn, Montez Ford.
Frog splat their mind.
So Kairi Sane heads up top, and she gets cut off, which allows Candice LeRae to hit the Unprettier and a lion salt on Nikki Cross. Then Kairi Sane flies in with the insane elbow, and that's good enough to pick up the win, and Kairi Sane will go on to face Shayna Baszler at Brooklyn TakeOver 4. This was a really well done match, a really well done finish. Candice LeRae hits that Unprettier. She follows it up with the lion salt on Nikki. They're zoomed in real close on the pinfall. We get 1, 2, the ref's arms coming down for 3, and then bam, the insane elbow right on Candice LeRae. Kairi rolls her over, gets the pin, and she's the winner. So this was an awesome episode of NXT because those video packages, man, were great. I mean, the Aleister Black, Tommaso Ciampa one was excellent. The Street Profits one was fun. The Velveteen Dream one was sensational, and the War Raiders definitely helped establish them and let people know why they should be feared and why they're such a big deal. I thought they accomplished a lot in this hour, and it was like old school WWE to me, where you got the vignettes and the character development more than actual wrestling and story this week. So I really enjoyed this episode of NXT. I was really thrilled about it. So
yeah, NXT has always had amazing pacing to how they tell their stories and interesting talent, and it goes to show how they're run because they have a ton of turnover, and the quality just remains the same and sometimes exceeds. So yeah, man, they NXT is the number one for me at least, even though I don't watch week to week.
Yeah, man, it's been the number one for me for most of this year, to be honest. Like I said last week, NXT and New Japan are really what I'm, really excited about right now. WWE has its moments for me, but I get more enjoyment and fulfillment totally from NXT and New Japan. So if you guys don't have New Japan World, y'all need to get on it because the G1 is on fire right now.
I think I had New Japan, but I couldn't remember my password. I was saddened. And then, the whole thing is like in Japanese, and you can translate it, but then there's certain parts that are still kind of in Japanese.
Right. Yeah, and that would be the login part that you're talking about specifically.
They won't. It won't be too much longer for they have a foothold in the United States, and it'll be easier to.
Yeah, it's coming, man. They're going to get a lot of shine being with ROH. Oh, yeah, that's another piece of news. ROH got their date back, so they're going to be running the Garden. So, yeah, they're going to be having a joint show with New Japan. So, that's going to be a really big deal. WrestleMania weekend, everybody's going to be that's actually going to be one of those nights where people are going to have to decide, do they want to go to ROH, New Japan, or do they want to go to TakeOver? Because they're both on the same night at almost the same time. So that's going to be real.
That's good competition right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So That's the end of our review. So I'm going to open it up to our guest, none other than I Walk Less, Mr. Finn, for your shout outs and thank you, sir.
Shout out to you, Don. Shout out to Magnum Prime before he left. Good cat, always good talking to y'all too. Shout out to Didi for joining us. I didn't appreciate getting hit with the chair in the run in. Shout out to everybody that participates on the Rawcast and the SmackDown Matters and the week, the monthly cast, because y'all are actually more funny and intelligent, and there's a good atmosphere because I have my own wrestling list, and sometimes they're just some snarky sons of bitches. But I'm glad everybody just keeps it light, keeps it funny, and I think y'all are like the king of memes. So shout out to Titus and Kofi and the New Day for being succinct and not shaking on character and just being the men that they are and telling Hulk Hogan to fuck himself. So I think that's about it, man.
All
Shout
right.
out to black people and fuck Trump.
All right. Thank you for joining us always, Finn. Like I said, you were our first guest,
Pleasure.
and you've actually been on here the most. I think you and Young Littlefoot might be maybe tied, or you might have one more appearance over her, but y'all been the most two uh, uh,
Appearing.
appearing guests, have the two most appearances on the show. So we thank y'all a lot. Miss
Friends of the
Didi
show, man. Gotta love y'all.
Miss Didi Jonay, your shout outs and thank yous.
I'm gonna give a shout out to you, Donald, Sam, Gregory, Finn, because I miss Finn. Classic Mel, because Mel always gets shout outs. I'm gonna give a shout out to my coworkers because they had me drinking. And I thought I was okay. Don sent me a message and he's like, a drunk Didi is a fun Didi. And I wanted to be like, I don't know how drunk I am. I think I know how drunk I am now. So
What are
yeah.
your established levels of drunkenness?
It's like 3 sheets, 5 sheets, and then call the folk. Not an ambulance, but just call the folk.
Call the folks. Somebody
Just
take
call the
me.
folk. Somebody just to take care of me. Make sure she get food in her system. I had a Jack Daniels burger, but they don't call it Jack Daniels anymore.
Mm.
I feel like there's something going on Friday. It's like why are you calling it whiskey sauce? You all know it's Jack Daniels based, but not my business, above my pay grade. So I had the drink. I did not have any water, but I had the drinks, and then I had the hamburger. I had some fries, and then I got home on my own steam. So hopefully I'll
You did
be.
good today.
Yeah, hopefully I did. I worked a long day. I was at work from 8:30 to 7. So
Oh,
I deserve
oh,
all my drinks.
Yeah, that is a long
yeah.
day, especially around some kids.
Yeah, little assholes. I love them dearly. Don't get me wrong. I took a picture of one and put it on my Snap. Not my Snap, but on my Instagram. I love my kids. Shout out to my kids. They up in DC acting a hot ass mess, but they're adorable. I love them dearly. So shout out to them, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Give a shout out once again to Finn. Give a shout out to Greg. Give a shout out to Sam. I'm sorry for your loss, my friend. Give a shout out to Miss Didi Jonay, my SmackDown Matters correspondent. Give a shout out to Miss Jade. She had me busting out laughing in stitches and text messages this week. Give a shout out to all the Wrestle Bays and the Glow. And just like Finn said, everybody who rocks with all the hashtags and shares their commentary with Color Man. We appreciate y'all for creating an environment that's oftentimes more entertaining than Monday Night Raw. So definitely helps the 3 hours pass. Appreciate y'all so very much. And on that note, for our guest, Finn, aka I Walk Less, our SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Didi Jonay, and our WrestleCast broadcast journalist, Mr. Magnum Prime, I'm Don Delarente. This has been episode 194 of the WrestleCast. Please stay tuned for the parting promo.
Peace.
All right, Miss Didi, I got you out of here.
That was fun.
You done good.
And now I got to go back and edit you out snoring.
I did not.
Yes, you
Yes, you
did.
did.
Oh my no, the thing fell. I swear I didn't snore.
No, yes, you
No.
did. Through the
Oh my
whole
god.
Lucha Underground review.
In like the
No.
first segment of NXT. Yep.
Uh-huh.
No. I'm
Then the
so
thing fell,
sorry.
and then you came back to it.
Oh shit. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing.
I wanted to say something, but Don was being so professional. I was like,
Well,
let it ride.
I just know that I can just go and put silence right there, except for the part where you jump in and talk. People are gonna hear it.
Oh my god, that's so embarrassing.
Oh
Hey
yeah.
man,
It was
gotta get
my
your rest where
fault.
you can.
I should have sat up, but I'm tired. And so I'm leaning first of all, I'm leaning on a pile of clean clothes on my couch.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's
the
definitely snoozing.
the iPad was on my lap. I didn't feel myself fall asleep. I guess that's how it happens in real life. I heard it fall, and you know my iPad is already broken. So when it fell, I was like, "Oh no!" But I picked
No,
it
but the
up.
hilarious part was it
Oh
wasn't it
god!
wasn't like it wasn't like 15 seconds after you stopped talking.
Yeah.
Oh god! Like it didn't take long at all.
No.
It
By
started
the
soon as Don said Lucha Underground.
time
I really don't remember anything you said about Lucha Underground. That's crazy.
I hit the reset and told everybody where they could find the podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Radio, and
Yeah,
I wanted to talk to you about Vibra.
he made me uncomfortable.
and I
I
wanted
wish
to
I had
talk,
been awake to tell you all about it.
and I wanted to talk to you about Exolicious doing that flash dance shit.
Nah, I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't see that? Oh shit! If you saw the
Mm-mm.
part with the doll, you should have saw that because it was all together.
I saw the doll and it made me uncomfortable, so I put my head down.
Oh yeah. So before that, Exolicious is in the rainbow jumpsuit and he's straight doing flash dance.
Nah, I
And
missed it.
he sits down in the chair and has the little water thing, and then
Mm.
Jack Evans is like crouching in the corner, like I'm spying on my competition or whatever.
Oh my! I cannot believe I snored.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was long, extended. It's like
Oh God!
I thought it was Finn. I was like, who
I
is
got a manly
snoring?
snore. Oh my God!
I
My
That
was
was
mother
me too, to be
told
honest. I ain't gonna
my
lie.
mother told me I snored. I thought she was just lying because I had told her she snored for the last 3 decades. But she said when I was on the trip, she was like, "You were snoring so bad." She said, my nephew. She was like, "I told Isaiah to hit you, so you would shut up." I was like, "What?" And I didn't believe her, but now I guess it must have been true.
Yes,
Don't
man.
believe your own mama.
I thought she was lying because you know how you be like, you snore, you be like, I don't snore,
Yeah,
and it's
Yeah,
like
everybody
yeah.
now say snore, right?
I know that I do snore. Like now, especially now that I've gained weight, I definitely snore because I can feel myself snoring, and I'd be like, oh shit. But I didn't know it. Like it took nothing. Like
Yeah, the Margaritaville kicked in.
listen, it was 4 margaritas and a shot. I did not have any water. I did have a burger and fries, but I'm tired anyway. So like, none of that
Yeah.
helps. Uh,
You had a long day, you ate good, and you drunk a lot. I'm just
and
happy you
then I
made it.
sat on this comfy ass couch, like,
On clean clothes at that.
and they're real clean. Like they're very clean. I made a point to clean them. I didn't make a point to fold them because fuck out of here. But yeah,
Yeah, I got a whole basket over here I'm looking at right now that needs to be filled.
I cannot
Yeah, I
believe
got shit in the jar. That's underrated napping right there on clean clothes. Yes, God.
it's so good. Oh, listen, don't get nothing warm out. Oh my
I like to throw the
god,
blanket in there just for like 20 minutes.
just on a warm blanket. It's like God loves you. You don't ever have to question it.
It's like for 15 minutes, there's no white supremacy.
Big facts. Big facts.
Ah, all right, man. This was fun. I gotta use
All
the
right,
bathroom.
guys. No problem, man. I gotta do some editing. I gotta stick in some. Didi, did you listen to the show yet? The new shows. Oh, that's fine.
No, it's not. No, I didn't finish it. I got like halfway.
You like this? You like the sounds, the like
You
matte sounds?
you put more of the matches in between the segments, right?
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, all right. I'm just trying to do something new. My audio group was like, you should try to put in the sounds of these great matches. These things are so great. You should let people hear it. So I was like,
Yeah, that
okay,
makes sense. That's a good theory.
yeah. So that's what I got to do. I got about 7 things to put in tonight. So
Wow.
yeah, and then I got to edit out your
I'm
7
so
minutes this morning.
sorry. I'm
So
causing more work for you.
it's all good, friend. We're supposed to have Tatiana King next week, thanks to Sam. So we'll see if that happens.
Cool.
All right. Be good.
All right. Night,
Have a good
friend.
weekend. Good night.
You too.
All right. Bye.